Think Paul wrote most of the New Testament? Think again. Luke's combined two-volume work, Luke and Acts, makes up over 27% of the entire text by total word count. The authors didn't write in elite classical Greek or Hebrew. They used Koine Greek, the common everyday street language spoken across marketplaces throughout the Roman Empire. The Gospels weren't written first. The earliest New Testament books are actually Paul's epistles, with 1 Thessalonians penned around 50 AD, years before the Gospel of Mark. Matthew, Mark, and Luke share vast identical passages. Most scholars agree Mark wrote first, while Matthew and Luke also drew from a mysterious, lost sayings collection called Cute. Among roughly 8 traditional New Testament authors, only one wasn't Jewish. Luke, the traveling companion of Paul and a practicing physician, is widely considered the sole Gentile writer. Paul dictated most of his letters using professional scribes. In Romans chapter 16, his scribe Tertius literally interrupts the text to say, "Hello, I, Tertius, greet you in the Lord." Every Pauline epistle opens with his name, but Hebrews is completely anonymous. Church scholars have debated the author for 2 millennia, proposing Apollos, Barnabas, Priscilla, or Paul. Paul's letters aren't arranged chronologically. Early compilers organized them by length, from the longest, Romans, down to the shortest, 2 Thessalonians, followed by personal letters. Original New Testament manuscripts were written in scriptio continua, all capital letters without a single space, comma, period, or paragraph break between the words. Ancient Christians didn't cite chapter and verse numbers. Chapter divisions were invented in 1205 by Stephen Langton, and verse numbers weren't standardized until 1551. The shortest New Testament book is 3 John, clocking in at just 219 Greek words. The longest is Luke, running nearly 20,000 words long. While Jesus wept is the shortest verse in English, it isn't in original Greek. 1 Thessalonians 5:16, rejoice always, is 2 letters shorter than John 11:35. No ancient document rivals the New Testament's manuscript evidence. Over 5,800 Greek manuscripts and fragments survive today, crushing the historical record of any classical Greco-Roman work. The oldest physical piece of the New Testament is Papyrus P52, housed in Manchester. This tiny scrap from John's Gospel dates back to roughly 125 AD. While the writings circulated for centuries, the exact list of 27 books we use today was first formally published in 367 AD by Bishop Athanasius of Alexandria. 2 famous gospel passages, the longer ending of Mark and the woman caught in adultery, do not appear in the oldest, most reliable biblical manuscripts discovered by modern scholars. The 2 oldest near-complete surviving Greek Bibles date to the 4th century. Codex Vaticanus in Rome, and Codex Sinaiticus, famously discovered at a remote desert monastery in Sinai. Though written in Greek, key phrases preserve Jesus speaking in his native Aramaic, like Talitha koum, little girl arise, and his final cry on the cross, Eloi Eloi lema sabachthani. The New Testament is deeply rooted in Jewish scriptures. It features roughly 300 direct Old Testament quotations and thousands of allusions, quoting most heavily from Psalms and Isaiah. Paul didn't just quote scripture, he quoted secular Greek philosophers. In his letters and speeches, he directly cited pagan poets like Aratus, Menander, and the Cretan philosopher Epimenides. The shortest letter Paul wrote to an individual, Philemon, is a radical personal plea asking a wealthy slave owner to forgive his runaway slave, Onesimus, and welcome him as family. In John's Gospel, Jesus makes 7 dramatic metaphorical I am statements, like light of the world and bread of life, directly echoing God's divine name revealed to Moses at the burning bush. Simon's famous nickname, Peter, comes from the Greek word Petros, meaning rock. Jesus gave him the Aramaic name Cephas, which the Gospel authors translated into Greek for readers. Revelation's number of the beast is famously 666, but ancient papyri fragments record it as 616, reflecting the Hebrew versus Latin spelling of the Roman Emperor Nero. In 1516, Renaissance scholar Desiderius Erasmus printed the first published Greek New Testament. empowering William Tyndale and Martin Luther to translate the Bible directly into English and German.